بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So alhamdulillah, yes, last week we started the series of the stories of the prophets, also known as the stories of the Quran. And we had started about Sayyidina Adam Alaihi salatu Wasalam. The story of Adam Alaihi salatu Wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions it in Quran in many places. You know, normally if someone tells you something, tells you anything, a story or whatever, he will tell you 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. If he tells you 3, 4 times, that means that he is showing you the importance that, I'm keep on telling you the same thing over and over. But the story of Adam alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not just mentions it 3 or 4 or 5 times, but many places, 10, 12 times in different surahs, Surah Baqarah, Surah Al Imran, Surah A'raf, and different places. The stories of Adam alayhi salam is mentioned, telling us that it's so important that Allah is not just mentioning it just 2 or 3 or 4 times, He's keep on mentioning it at different places. And the scholars mention why this story of Adam alayhi salam is so important is because this is the beginning of the human beings. This is the start. And as we know, if the start is perfect, if the start is good, then everything ahead will be good too. I just remember Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, when he used to remember the grave, he used to cry a lot. Compared to, he would not cry as much when he would remember the Jahannam. So someone asked him that you don't cry, you're not as scared of Jahannam, you don't cry as much about Jahannam like you cry about Qabr. And he said, because Qabr is the first stage. And if I pass in this stage, the rest of the stages will be easy. So Adam alayhi salatu wasalam's story is the beginning of humankind, human beings. So if this is perfect and good, if we understand this story, we learn the lesson from Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, then the rest of our life, rest of whatever Allah is mentioning, the different stories will all be perfect and it will be good for us. So this is why this is, when a person builds a house, he builds a building, the base has to be strong. The beginning, if the foundation, the ground is not straight, the building, if you mix 10-story, 20-story building, the whole building will be crooked. So the base, the original, the first level has to be perfect. So Adam alayhi salatu wasalam is just like that. He is the first human being and the first prophet. So if we understand his story, we learn the lessons, inshallah our life will be perfect and good too, inshallah. So in Surah Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the angels that I plan to make a creation, Khalifa, a successor in this land, on the earth. And he's mentioning this to the angels before even Adam alayhi salatu wasalam is created. And we talked about it last week that this portion tells us the importance of asking others for mashura and for guidance. Though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one is at his level, he does not need to ask others for opinion, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us the lesson. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam also, though no one is at his level, he is Sayyidul Rasul, the leader of all the messengers. Sahaba were nothing close to his level. But Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam is told that even with your Sahaba, you do mashura. وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Whenever there's anything, ask them for mashura, ask them for their opinions. So mashura is important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing the same thing with the angels here. What did the angels respond? Angels said, أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ. Are you going to create another nation, another creation that will also cause mischief, do fasad, and will shed blood? Because the angels already had experienced the jinns previously. There were mainly three different creations. One were the angels, who were always obedient to Allah. They would never do any sin, never disobey Allah. And another creation were the jinns, who were doing a lot of mischief, a lot of fasad, a lot of disobedience. And so the angels only had seen the creation of the jinns. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I'm going to create another nation, another creation, the angels got scared and they said that if you create another creation, they also might do mischief and fasad and shed blood, killing, and all of those things, all of those crimes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then said, قَالَ إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. You don't know what I know. You think that the creation of human beings, they will do fasad. I know something about them that you don't know. And like I mentioned, the angels, they also added one more sentence, and they said, they added one more thing in their reply to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they said, وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ. That we are doing your tasbih. We are always praising you. We're always in your ibadah. So why is there, the angels are asking Allah, why is there a reason to create another creation? Why create human beings? We are already doing your ibadah. The scholars mention a beautiful point here, and that is, and this is not to put anything lower or higher, but just to give us understanding that the angels, they said that we always do tasbih. We always praise you, we always do the ibadah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in response said, إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. I know that you don't know. Telling the angels and telling us that the angels just doing tasbih and the ibadah only was not enough. That's not all what I needed. I need more than your tasbih. I need more than your ibadah. You need to physically do something else, do work, do khidmah, and live in this world and use this material things of this dunya. Or else everything in this dunya is pointless. If all we did was just sit in the masjid and sit in one place and just do the ibadah. This is not the purpose of creation of human beings. We have to balance it. We do the tasbih, we do the ibadah, as well as we do our worldly things too. But of course, in the worldly things, we don't intend to do it just for the purpose of world, but we do it for the pleasure of Allah. This is what Allah wants in a human being. Not just Prophet ﷺ's life. If you look at it, he did not just sit in Ghar Hira for the entire 23 years. He got his nubuwah in the cave of Hira. He stayed in Ghar Hira for 6 months, 8 months. He did his ibadah. Then he went out. He went and he started announcing, preaching the da'wah and preaching the Islam to everyone else. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us through the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and through this response of the angels, that I don't just need your tasbih only. If I needed just tasbih, you were enough. But I need more than that. And the angels were not able to use the world, use the materials, things of this dunya. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to create another creation that can use the dunya also. The angels, they don't need to eat. They don't need to work. They don't need to, none of these things are importance to them. None of these things are benefit to them. So anyways, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then created Adam alayhi salatu wasalam with dirt. This is a very important thing to remember. Created Adam alayhi salam with dirt. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam in his original, Adam alayhi salam's original form. You know how nowadays we hear people, the scientists especially, they say that there's an evolution, right? People, human beings were a different creation before, and some even say that human beings were originally monkeys and animals, and then slowly the changes started coming and this shape of human beings was formed. So originally it was something different. It was not a human being. Rasulullah ﷺ tells us in an authentic hadith, خَلَقَ آدَمَ عَلَى صُورَتِهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam in his original form. He was not anything different. So that is a totally wrong idea, and that is not something that is something totally against Islam, against the teachings of Islam, that human beings were some different form and shape, and then they became in this form. Whoever says that human beings were made from monkeys, possibly they are, but alhamdulillah we are not. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam with dirt, and there's two different narrations here. Some narrations say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the angels, commanded the angels, that you go around the world and collect the different dirt from different lands. So different dirt from around the globe, around the world were collected, and then Adam alayhi salam's shape was made. And some narrations mention that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He himself gathered the dirt and put it together and made the shape of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. And the scholars mention another point here, and that is that since Adam alayhi salatu wasalam was made from dirt, and dirt is different types and in different colors. Some dirt are soft, some dirt are hard. Some dirt are different, a red color, some are white color, some are black, and some are brown. Different colors, different types. Therefore, the human beings, as they were made from different dirts, there are different types and different colors. Some are very harsh, some people are very strict, and some are very soft, and some are different colors. This is all because the different dirts were used in the making of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. And now, if we look at the verses of Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses different words for the dirt. Some places Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses خَلَقَهُ مِن تُرَابٍ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam with dirt. Another place He says خَلَقَهُ مِن طِينٍ. And then some places it says min salsalim min hama'in masnoon. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using different words from which material Adam alayhi salatu wasalam was created. And some people now, looking at these different verses, object on Islam and object on Quran, that how can Quran be a correct book and from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it has so many contradictions. One place Allah is saying this, the other place is saying that, the third place is saying something different. And people use these verses to object on the Quran and on the deen. But the reality is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using these different words and telling us that Adam alayhi salatu wasalam was made by all of these, and these different dirts were at different stages. For example, salsalim min hama'in masnoon, it is the dirt that is hard and that makes noise, right? So now, how you have like a pot made out of clay handi? No. So there's those bowls that are made out of clay, and if you tap it, it makes noise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one place He's saying that I use that dirt to make Adam alayhi salam. And some places He's just using min turab, which is just dirt with water. So different types of dirt are used. But there's no contradiction, because at different stages, at different levels, the dirt changes. Initially it is turab, and then it's teen, and then it's different levels. So it changes. It's not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying different. No. Just like when a baby is still in the womb of the mother, initially it is just a drop, and then it becomes blood, then there's some meat, some bones, and different shapes are formed. So at different levels it becomes different. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses different words to prove that different stages and different levels, it was different type of dirt. There is no contradiction. And when a person understands this, he can actually understand the beauty of Quran and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us and showing us the way of making a human being was through these different stages. And this is a mu'jiza. And if a person would understand it this way, this could also become a way for that person to understand the wahdaniyah of Allah, the oneness of Allah, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created human beings. And now the science has just mentioned all of these different methods of creation of a human being now. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed these verses over 1,000 years ago. So this is a clear mu'jiza that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has that information when no one in the world had this information. Anyways, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam at a height of 60 dhira', which is about over 60 feet. You know, nowadays if you see someone 6 feet, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", oh, that's a very tall person. Adam alayhi salam is not in 6 or 7 feet. He's at the range of 60. A building that's a 50, 60 feet, it's as if he is a huge building. And his width was 7 dhira', about 7 feet. So human beings, initially, when Adam alayhi salam was created, the human beings in those times were big and large. Here we understand one more thing, and I know scientists will not agree with us here, but this is a fact that when we know that human beings were larger in size before, that means that everything must have been large before, even the animals must have been large, and everything starts getting smaller and shortened. From 60 feet, we're at 6 feet, right? So if a camel is 6 feet today, it probably was 60 feet back in the days too. So, the scientists, they say that dinosaurs was a different creation that existed in the past, and that there's no dinosaurs anymore. Allahu Alam, it's possible that these camels and these goats were probably the dinosaurs of those times. They were large, or whatever animal it might be. But the point is that everything used to be bigger. Adam alayhi salatu wasalam was 60, and this is authentic hadith, 60 feet height and 7 feet in width. And as the hadith mentions, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that human beings are getting shorter and shorter day by day, and they will continue, and now they are at this height. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, now they will remain at this height. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the body of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, and before he blew the ruh, before he put the ruh in the body, it was just an empty body, not moving yet. It was just to form a body of a human being. It was something new. So once, the hadith mentions that once Iblis, the shaitan, at that time he was not a shaitan, he was an abid, he was a great worshipper at that time. Iblis was passing by and he saw this form of Adam alayhi salam, and he was amazed at what is this? He hadn't seen anything like this. So he stood there and just started staring at this body of Adam alayhi salam. And then the hadith mentioned he started to touch, started to feel, what is this? It looks something different. So then when he felt the stomach, he realized that it's empty from the stomach. So Shaitan made a comment at that time and he said that from this I can misguide the human beings from the stomach. That is empty, I can fill it in. And this is where Shaitan feeds haram food, and through that a person starts to do sins, and Shaitan opens his doors through the haram foods. Anyways, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He planned to put the ruh in the body of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, He ordered the angels. He said, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. He said to the angels, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the angels that when I blow my ruh into Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, make sure all of you go into sajda. فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. Everyone go into sajda for him. And as we know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then mentions in the further ayahs, فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ. All the angels went into sajda, except illa Iblis. Here we need to understand one thing, and this is that the sajda that was done to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, it was allowed previously for Adam alayhi salam, but in our deen, we're not allowed to do sajda to any human being. Whether even Sahaba were not allowed to do sajda to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. In our deen, sajda to a human being is not allowed. As one hadith mentions that Sahaba radiallahu anhum said, Ya Rasulullah, the other groups, other nations, other people from different religions, they do sajda to their kings. You are more deserving of us doing sajda to you. So, Ya Rasulullah, allow us to do sajda to you. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if sajda was allowed for any person, I would have told the wives to do sajda to their husbands. But even that is not allowed. So anyway, sajda in our deen is haram, it is forbidden. No one is allowed to do sajda and bow down to any person. The angels. How many angels did sajda? Ayah is very clear. فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ. All the angels, every single angel. How many angels are there? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one verse says, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُوَ. No one knows the amount, the number of the army of Allah. Junud, this is Allah's army, the angels. No one knows their exact number. This is our belief, this is our aqidah. We believe in the angels, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created a creation of angels out of nur, but how many are there? We don't know the details. We know certain angels, we know Jibreel alayhi salam, we know Israfil alayhi salam, we know certain angels, but we don't know all the angels, we don't know how many they are also. So all the angels, this is an honor for Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. Imagine a large number of people doing sajda to you. This was sajda ta'zeem. This was sajda for honoring Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. In one hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that there isn't even 2 fingers of space on this earth or anywhere. There isn't even a space of 2 fingers except that there is an angel there worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many angels are there? Every area is filled with angels. And we all know, and just like we have Kaaba in Makkah Mukarramah, there's also a Kaaba in the heavens for the angels, known as Baytul Ma'mur. And it is mentioned that at each time, at each moment, there are 70,000 angels doing tawaf of Baytul Ma'mur, and no angels gets a chance to do it second time. So there are a lot of angels. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded all of those angels to do sajda to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. And of course we know Iblis was the only one who refused. Allah, when everyone is in sajda and Iblis is still standing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked, قَالَ مَا مَنَعَكَ أَلَّا تَسْجُدَ إِذَا مَرَتُكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking the Iblis, what stopped you from doing the sajda? Everyone is doing it, everyone followed my command, everyone went into sajda. مَا مَنَعَكَ أَن تَسْجُدَ إِذْ أَمَرْتُكَ. What stopped you from doing the sajda when I commanded you? قَالَ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْ خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ طِينٍ. Iblis's response was, I am better than him. You created me out of fire, and you created Adam alayhi salam out of dirt. So fire is better than the dirt, and I'm made out of fire, so I must be better than someone who is made out of dirt. The scholars mention that this was the first ever sin committed after Adam alayhi salatu wasalam's creation. After human beings came into existence, the first sin ever that was done was the sin of arrogance, the sin of hasad and takabbur. Of why does he get that honor? Why is Allah telling everyone to do sajda to him? And Iblis, as we learned before, he had done so much ibadah that he was considered to be the leader of all the angels. Though he was not an angel, he was a jinn. But even the angels considered Iblis to be their leader because of how much ibadah he used to do. And now Iblis feels that I was the one that should have gotten this honor. Everyone should have done sajda to me because I am the greatest abid. why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling me to do sajda to Adam alayhi salam? This was the arrogance that he had, this was the takabbur that he had. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tells Shaitan, tells Iblis, قَالَ فَهْبِطْ مِنْهَا فَمَا يَكُونُ لَكَ أَن تَتَكَبَّرَ فِيهَا فَاخْرُجْ إِنَّكَ مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. You leave from here because of the takabbur, the arrogance that you had. You are humiliated. إِنَّكَ مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. And now Iblis is rejected, he is kicked out. And another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّ عَلَيْكَ اللَّعْنَةَ إِلَى يَوْمِ الدِّينِ. May the curse be upon you. Refuse the order of Allah, opposing the orders of Allah, it's a reason for the curse to come on you. وَإِنَّ عَلَيْكَ اللَّعْنَةَ إِلَى يَوْمِ الدِّينِ. May the curse be on you till the day of judgment. So now Shaitan is rejected, Shaitan is cursed, he is kicked out. And then Shaitan, while he was leaving, he made a request. قَالَ أَنظِرْنِي إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. That allow me to live till the day of Qiyamah. Don't give me death. Allow me to live till the day of Qiyamah. You know, scholars mention an amazing lesson here, and that is that a person, when he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for anything, with this trust in his heart that Allah will accept my dua, Allah will surely accept that dua. Though you might be a worse sinner, whichever condition you might be in. But when a person makes dua with trust in Allah, with yaqeen in Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers that dua. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is why Iblis saw this opportunity and he made this dua. أَنظِرْنِي إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. A dua that we think is impossible. We may make dua, so many du'as, but we never make dua, Ya Allah, allow me to live forever. This is not a dua that we think that even a dua will not work on this. But Iblis had this trust that if I ask Allah with full trust, it will get answered. And قَالَ أَنظِرْنِي إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. Ya Allah, allow me to live till the day of Qiyamah. قَالَ إِنَّكَ مِنَ الْمُنظَرِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you are allowed to live. You are been given more time. إِنَّكَ مِنَ الْمُنظَرِينَ. And then Shaitan, before he left, before he exited, before he was kicked out, one last statement that he made was, قَالَ فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. That, Ya Allah, because you misguided me, فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي, because you misguided me, I will sit for the people on their straight path. The people that are on the straight path, the believers, not the kuffar, the believers, whoever is on the straight path, I will sit on their path. And what will Shaitan do? As another ayah mentions, وَلَأُضِلَّنَّهُمْ وَلَآمُرَنَّهُمْ. I will misguide them. So Shaitan has taken this on himself, that from now on, from that day on, I will misguide the people. Which people? Those who are already on the straight path. This is why, a lot of times people say, oh, why that person, why did he do a sin? Shaitan is his goal, his purpose is that he wants to misguide and make those people fall into sin who are on the straight path. Anyways, after Shaitan was rejected and kicked out and he's cursed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now tells Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam that you and your wife live in Jannah and enjoy the ni'mas and the bounties of Jannah. Inshallah, we'll continue from here next week. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.